guys all clear? Thank you, I forgot to turn it back on. Okay, so everybody understanding what the GPS stands for, it used to be known as the 1-3-5. 1 goal, 3 priorities, 5 strategies. Okay, but we're gonna do this together. I love these kinds of classes, because this is a skills lab. Labs usually mean you get to do, right? So, I hope I have one of these that work. These look new. So what I want to talk about first is, if we were just gonna brainstorm together some priorities, okay? Anybody want to throw it? Can you, if you haven't already, Stacy, will you drop in the chat the GPS form? It's already done, okay. You should have in the chat the GPS form. I'm stalling so you guys have time to go print it, because you're gonna want it. Okay, so let's do some examples of some priorities. Anybody want to throw one out?
Events.
Expanding your concept.
I think events could be a strategy versus a priority, because events would be something you would use to support a geographic farm or a sphere. But it could be, right? It could be, so we'll put that now. All right, what else?
Expanding your context.
Say again?
Expanding your context.
Okay, so sphere, so expanding your sphere in your database. Okay. Bunch of you worked a whole lot of them last weekend.
Open houses.
Open houses, right? That would be a priority. What else? Door knocking just for the sake of door knocking, or would that be a strategy underneath a priority?
Social media.
Social media, and I love social media because you can use it 2 different ways. Social media can be used to enhance as a strategy underneath certain priorities, but it could also be a priority because you could use social media by creating paid ads in your, through command to find new clients. Okay? We asked the question, we said farming, right? Geographical or demographic, right? That would be a priority. Expireds and FSBOs, does that sound like one? Okay. Anything else you guys can think of? Those are the big ones. Those really are the big ones, right? There's ways that some of the ideas that you guys were throwing out were things that support these bigger concepts. Right, but if you go and look at the bigger concepts, right, you could add to them, right? Now, these are all very prospecting based. We didn't do marketing based, right? We're not gonna talk about billboards. We're not gonna talk about TV ads. We're not gonna talk about radio ads, because those are way too expensive for the return that you get, and none of us are there. There? All right. Zoomland, are we following? Are we tracking with me?
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Good, I like it, because our goal is that we're gonna walk away with these. So what I'd like you to do now is I want you to, off of this list that I have on the board, which says events, although I would argue events is more a support than it is a priority. Sphere, past clients, open houses, social media, and that's social media to find new clients. Farming, either demographic or geographical, expireds or FSBOs. What are yours? And I want you to, in those 3 lines where it says the different priorities, I want you to write down what your priorities are. You pick. You get to choose. The key to this is, make sure you're gonna do it. If you don't understand what it means enough, then now's the time to ask more questions. Okay, we're good? Everybody got your 3? You got priority 1, priority 2, and hopefully priority 3? Of course, if you only get to priority 2 today, I'll probably be okay with it, but we'll go there. in your next coaching session, I want you to bring with you your business plan from last week, and then your GPS that you wrote. We can tweak it, we can adjust it, but I wanna start looking at it with you, fair enough? All right,
I actually have something.
go ahead.
With Sphere and past clients, could those be like just nurturing leads that you've already gotten, like continue to work on those?
You could, cause I would argue, so you've got like my open house, their leads, I put them into a nurture, so they go to my database, but I don't necessarily call them my sphere. A sphere person, so let's define that, that's a great question, but I also, because Jen spoke up, I also wanna talk about online leads. Is that a source to find business?
Yes.
Yes.
That silly thing called Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, paid leads, all of those things, you can do that too, I want to write that one down. Sphere, to be defined as a sphere would be somebody who knows you, they recognize you in the grocery store, you have a relationship with, right? A lead, you could argue we have people that we meet at open houses, we put them in command as a contact, but are they really sphere? Probably not, they might become it, but they're not the first time, those are more of a lead. So there's a lot of what we do in here, you could argue that some of the stuff that we're gonna write in sphere past clients would be the same activities that you would put in an open house lead follow-up or an online lead follow-up or any of that type of stuff. There's gonna be repetition in what we do today. Okay, good questions, anything else? Zoom land, how about you guys, you got any questions for me? No? All right, everybody got it printed? Are you writing it down? Are we going? All right. And I promise for those of you, our guests who are part of real estate school, I will work very hard today not to confuse you for the test. So I don't think there's anything here I would do that. So how many of you wrote down sphere / past clients? I would anticipate almost everybody would. Okay, because you know people, right? Do you not know people from your biking club? Do you not know people who live across the street? Do you not know people you went to college with? Do you not know people who don't live here? Okay, I just thought of another, this is crazy because as I keep talking, I keep coming up with more. How about agent to agent referrals? Big one, right? Area I really want to focus on next year because it's easy money. Okay, so do you know people that don't live in the Denver metro area, does that mean you can't help them? No. You find them someone in the area that can help them and then you connect them and then you get a check in the mail. Because you connected two people together, it took you maybe 30 minutes?
If that.
If that, depending on the scenario, right? It's pretty easy. Okay, so everybody wrote down sphere? All right, so what Stacy's doing is, once she's got it up, and she's gonna switch slides on us, because what we're gonna do is, as a team, we're just gonna like do a complete brain dump of all the things that could go under sphere. So I don't want you to start writing these down unless it's something that you have a complete passion around. Because what I want you to do is I want you to be able to select which things under sphere will work for you, okay? And it's easier for Stacy to show it on the screen than it is for me to write on the board behind me because all of our friends can't see it, okay? I made the decision, the areas that we're gonna work on today is gonna be sphere, because almost all of you are gonna have that. Open houses, it's heavy for many of you, and then geographical farming, okay? Just because those are the most common ones that give us the highest return on our investment and that most of you are doing some element of, right? So Jen, for your online leads, we're gonna have to work on that one on your one-on-one, okay? So if you have something other than this, but I'm hopeful that this will give you ideas of how you can implement some of those things in your own life, fair enough? Okay, so under sphere past clients, what are some activities that we could do to enhance our relationships and build business by working with and communicating with our sphere? So anybody want to throw anything out, or you want me to go first?
Popeyes.
So is that pop buys? Okay, so how many pop buys a year are you going to do? Are you gonna do them monthly? Are you gonna do them one a quarter? Are you gonna do 2 during the year? How many? So Stacy, just write pop buys and then write how many. Okay, Jeff's gonna do 4, he's already committed. We're doing our first one this weekend, I can't wait. Okay, what else?
Phone calls.
Phone calls, connections, right? So I'm going to make X number of phone calls per week. And I'm gonna do that following what? DTD2. Not the little guy from Star Wars, not R2D2, right? DTD2. So for those of you who don't know what DTD2 is, DTD2 stands for do the database times 2. Okay? So you can find a calendar out on the resource page, out on the our Facebook group page that gives you the schedule. But what the DTD2 does is we know that we need to talk to our database 4 times a year. Okay? We need to have a 2-way voice-to-voice conversation with everybody in our database, ideally 4 times a year. Okay? Now, there's how many weeks in a year? 52. So the challenge is, before I just break it down, the challenge is we all want to start at the top and do the A's. And we just start dialing, right? And guess what you never get to? You barely get to M. Okay? So someone very smart said, we need to turn this into a system, right? Keller Williams is founded on a lot of models and systems. I'm about to give you your first system. DTD2 takes the alphabet and it breaks it down on who to call every week. So we know we have 52 weeks in the year, so how many weeks are in a quarter? I'll help you. 52 divided by 4 is 13. Okay? So every 13 weeks, I need to get through the entire alphabet. How many letters are in the alphabet? 26. So if I have to get through 26 letters in 13 weeks, how many letters do I need to call every week? 2. DTD2. Okay? So what somebody really smart did is they said, but wait a minute. There's a lot more names in some letters than there are in others. So we need to figure out how to break this out so that one week you don't have a huge list and the next week you have nothing. Although I would tell you the week that has I's, the only person I call is Bob Isabel. He gets gratitude call from me once every quarter. Okay? So they took the alphabet and they broke it into categories. So if you go to the schedule, the first week of every quarter, which is my favorite, the reason I remember it is A and W's. Was root beer float week, right? So the first week of every quarter, I call the A and W's. Another week, I'm calling the P's and L's. Another week, I'm calling the D's and the O's. The other week, I'm calling the B's and the E's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you have a plan. So one of the strategies that you might incorporate into your phone calling is to make sure that all of your contacts in command are tagged for the DTD2 calling groups. Now, if you really want to have some fun with that, take your Facebook and do the same thing. You can create subgroups within Facebook. I don't remember how to do it. You got to ask Charles. But you can also break your contacts in Facebook into the same letters. Okay, so that way if you have people in Facebook that aren't in your command, because maybe the only thing you have is you're on Facebook, you don't have a phone number, you don't have an email, you don't have a mailing address, you can then direct message them that same week. Okay, so using the DTD2 to get through those phone calls. All right, what's some other things we can do with our sphere?
Birthday cards.
Birthday cards. Yep, send everybody in your database their birthday card. What happens if what if I don't have their birthday, what could I do?
Ask.
Ask them. As you're doing your DTD2 calls, and I'm on the phone with you and I say, hey Liz, you know, blah, 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 we're chatting up a storm and I say, by the way, Liz, I can't remember, when's your birthday? She's not gonna think twice, she's just gonna blurt it out. then put it in command. And then add a smart plan that reminds you when people's birthdays are. Now, you can send cards, I think that's powerful. Do you know what I think is more powerful with birthdays? Phone call. Jeff, how many people called you on your birthday last time? And said happy birthday?
Oh,
Your mom?
I think I got like 5 or 6.
Oh, you're unusual. Okay, that's not normal. Usually a mom, maybe grandma. There's a story of a realtor in Denver, Jim Carroll tells the story all the time, that his entire lead generation is he physically called everybody on their birthday. It's the only time he called them. He called them on their birthday, wished them happy birthday. You know what somebody told him one day? I always look forward to this because you're the only person that ever actually calls me on their birthday. That's me.
I get more attention about the cards I get home. Because most people look at cards.
Yeah, people don't do cards anymore, right? Like, we're all guilty of it. Facebook said this morning that there were 5 people on my Facebook that it's their birthdays today, so what did I do? I went out and I just wrote happy birthday. Well, it's because it was people that I don't need to call them, right? But I wanted to know, I'm thinking about them, right? What if you took those birthday cards and you wrote it? Not just the Dollar Tree stores, not the dollar store cards, you actually wrote a handwritten note. Wow, wouldn't that be powerful? Another one that's very powerful for Facebook, and I know this because I got one time. I got a video from an agent that I know in another part of the country. And in my messenger on Facebook, here was this video from Christy. And she literally wished me a happy birthday. Now, I'm not dumb. She never said my name in the video. So she probably used the same video all year long for every single person that was in her Facebook, but guess what? If that's true, did that make me feel any less special? No. That was 5 years ago, you guys, I still remember it. I can't tell you what birthday cards I got 6 months ago, but I remember that video. And who do you think my #1 referral to Colorado Springs is? Well, it's Elena now, but back then it was Chrissy. Okay? All right, making sense? Super easy to do, right? You record one video at the beginning of the year, you don't put their name on it, and then you just send it in the morning on social media. Okay, what else can we do with our spirit?
Newsletters?
We could do newsletters. Are we mailing newsletters? Are we doing electronic newsletters? What are we doing?
Either. I like
Okay,
mail.
so you decide, right? You could, Stacy, let's break it down both. So you've got, maybe you're gonna mail newsletters. So what we do is we like to do a direct mail newsletter once a quarter, where they get like a little newspaper from us. It's literally like, I don't know, it's 4 pages, right? It's got content all over it, right? We get a lot of feedback on it. Or you could do email. And how often are you gonna do your email news? You could do an email one monthly. We do an email one for 12, and we do the direct mail once a quarter. And you're probably saying, well, why would you send in 12 email when you're direct mailing 4 times a year? It's because I don't have everyone's email address and I don't have everyone's mailing address. So the worst case scenario is Jeff gets an electronic newsletter and he gets a mail newsletter, but they don't have the same content. They're similar, we break it up. Wait, there's no right answer, there's no perfect answer, right? You could do one electronic newsletter a quarter, not matter. What are you gonna do with your businesses? Okay? What else?
And title postcards?
You could do a direct mail campaign. Okay? You could do a direct mail campaign monthly, you could do a direct mail campaign quarterly, you could do a direct mail campaign every other month. The MREA tells us that we should hit people with direct mail once a month. So if you're gonna follow the 36 touch plan, you would have 12 direct mail pieces throughout the year. Okay, however, you might not, your business might not be in a place where you can budget for that right now. Then go to every other month, go to once a quarter, do something, and then ramp up to where you need to be. Okay? What else?
Copies.
Copies. Some people's favorite. Okay, a lot of us keep Starbucks in business. Okay, so how many people are you gonna take, how many coffee dates are you gonna have a week? How many coffee appointments are you gonna have? How many times are you gonna meet people? The beauty of setting that up is, let's say that you're gonna do 3 coffees a week. Mara, do you just only have to call 3 people or text them to invite them to coffee to get those 3 appointments?
Just 4.
Just 4, so you have a pretty good conversion rate, right? But the reality is that you're gonna have to connect with more people than the number of people you actually have the coffees with. Okay, and then sometimes they cancel, or they move it to another week, so you gotta have a backup. So if you're going to do coffees, how many coffees are you gonna do a week? Bless you. All right, what else?
Events.
Oops, hold on.
Let's say, market updates, like from Mitch, when they do the weekly market updates. Like send
So-
an email or something.
Okay, is anybody else in the room on their computers that's on the Zoom? No. Okay, I'm getting some really bad feedback wherever it was, so, but yes, you could use the market updates that we get every week from Mitch. There's many ways you could use them. You could use them in an email that you send out that particular week with information. You could include them as part of your newsletter. I don't know, Lee, if that was exactly what you were looking to do.
Yeah, that's what I do, as I use, Mitch's market updates or Altos's market updates, and I email them, so.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah. Can you mute them? Oh, are you in control or am I in control? We need to mute
I got,
everyone.
yeah,
Great.
there's Lisa that was doing that, I think, but.
Okay. So yeah, that's an example of things you can incorporate in that. What else can you do in your sphere? Events. Stacy said events. I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
How many are you going to do a year?
We have the office events.
So we have the office events, right? We have the big breakfast with Santa. Of course, I rebranded as a holiday brunch. But yeah, so that's one. But you could do other events with your sphere. What are some other ideas around events? So first of all, you want to define in your GPS how many you're going to do. And then what are they? So if we went down and we brainstormed under events, what are some examples of some events that you've either held yourself or you've seen on Facebook, other realtors are hosting? So other than breakfast with Santa, throw me some.
Hiking. Events.
Hiking events, okay? That I think is more a social group, but it could be, you could create a hiking event, yeah. What else?
Neighborhood garage sale.
That would be more a geographical farm one, so hang on to that one. So on your sphere, what else would you do, Elena?
Portraits in the park.
Portraits in the park.
We know where that one went.
Well, and yet they also go very, very well. So it all depends on your sphere, right? And that's the trick. You gotta know your people, right? So we have 2 agents who are sitting in this room, both did portraits in the park. One had an amazing turnout, 2nd year in a row, and the other one had nobody even say they wanted the portraits. So you gotta know your people. What do they want? What do your people wanna do? Okay? I had mentioned I rebrand Breakfast with Santa to call it an annual brunch. My people don't have little kids. An invitation to Breakfast with Santa, they're not gonna come, they think it's a kid event. It's not. So I just rebrand it, holiday brunch, and then they come and, you know, when he was still with us, my 80-some-year-old uncle got his picture taken with Santa Claus too. And it was fun. What are some other events?
I just put up ice cream social, just.
Ice cream social, yep. Well, go ahead, Jeff, what else?
I do a lot of fishing and barbecue at my mountain property. Bring up a lot of friends up there.
Yeah, bring people up, yep.
And sometimes we do tending over the weekends like that.
What are your things you like to do, right? Invite people to parties. What a concept, right? What if you did a charity event? Right? So I'm a bowler, my entire family's bowler, my sphere is bowlers, right? Could I put together a charity bowling event and invite all of my friends to come and participate in the charity event and make money for something? Sure could. Great idea, we should put that on our list for next year, Stacy.
Yeah.
Okay, right? So how many events do you wanna host for your sphere? And then what events are you going to do? Another great one, another one that I've wanted to do for years, has been a Mother's Day tea. Right? You can find places in town that will host a tea. Right? There's tea places, and then there's also the place at 44th and Garrison, the Swiss Flowers and Gifts, she has a tea house. Right? What if you invited 5 or 6 of your fellow moms? Sorry, yeah, we'll go fishing for you guys, right? But what if you invited a bunch of your friends to tea? And oh, by the way, here's the beauty of an event. Do you always have to pay for it all?
No,
No.
I just wrote happy hour on there, that's amazing.
Happy hours, invite past coworkers to happy hour, and maybe you buy the appetizer. There's these crafty things. I know we did it with the ladies here in the market center. We went to that one place, you could make terrariums, and you could do all kinds of stuff. Or you can go to those, sip and see places, you can go to, the board and brush places. What if you just invited a bunch of your friends and said, hey, you guys, I thought it'd be fun if we all got together and go do this. And they pay for themselves, and maybe you buy the first glass of wine. Right, so what are things that you like to do with your friends, your family, your people? And go do something. Okay? Alright, so think about that. Alright, what else can we do with our people? What else can we do with our sphere?
One of my favorites is actually called My Favorite Things event. We usually do it around the holidays, and everybody brings like 2 of their favorite things. It's like socks, lotion, lip gloss, and we just have a fun time. You could do it like White Elephant or gift exchange, yeah, so.
Love that, those are good too. Alright, lots of good ideas. Alright. Okay, so I think we got lots of ideas for events.
Yeah.
I think you guys like to throw parties. Is this like a party group or what? Something. Another one that we didn't put up there that, I think it's mixed bag, is a shredding event. We did one year, and this would be one that you could do with Sphere and Geographic Farm. Mara, you and Sherry have done paint recycles, you've done electronic recycles. Those types of events, they're kind of like what Elena and Casey experienced with Portraits in the Park, depends on your people. It can be hit or miss. Here's what I'm gonna say about events. And one of the people that I like to coach with a lot, his comment is it's not about how many people show up at the event. It's how well you communicated with them about the event. Right? The advantage of an event is you're probably going to, you can email them information on it, you can mail them an invitation to it, you can call them, you can text them, then you can follow up because you didn't get the RSVP, then you see them at the event. And then you call them after the event, so sorry we missed you. Here's when our next one's coming up. So events are really great, even if nobody shows up. Like, I'm not joking, even if nobody shows up, you're gonna get a lot of traction from it. Going to the baseball games is another great event that a lot of people will do with Sphere and past clients. Buy some cheap rock pile tickets, because the team's not worth sitting anywhere else. Right?
Yeah.
They're not, it just depends on what team is here playing. Right? But again, right, we like to party in this market center, that's for sure.
We got a lot of ideas on events.
Yeah, all right, what else?
Hey, Margaret,
Yes, ma'am.
what about hosting events at your house, just like Bronco games or, like a Mother's Day brunch or a tea or whatever, barbecue?
Absolutely. If you're, and this is your sphere, So these are people that you already know, love, and trust, I hope, right? Absolutely, if you've got, I can't do it, my house is too tiny, right? But if you've got the house and the space and you like to do that in your own home, absolutely. Right? The more intimate you can make it, that's just, it strengthens the relationship that much farther. So absolutely. There's an agent, she used to be with Keller, but she hosts in the summertime. She calls it Fire Pit Friday.
That's fun.
And every Friday night, from about Memorial Day to, well, they're still having it because the weather's been so good. She'll just post on social media, hey, anybody want to come over for Fire Pit Friday? Everybody brings their own drinks. She may or may not have some snacks laying around, but you just go hang out. It doesn't have to be fancy. What other ideas do we have to support our sphere and our pastime?
We mentioned holiday cards.
Holiday cards. By the way, that just doesn't have to be Christmas and Hanukkah. I think you get more activity out of the Thanksgiving or the New Year's. Because everybody sends Christmas cards, so you get lost in the shuffle. If you're gonna do Christmas and Hanukkah, send them early.
How about pumpkin patches, things like that?
Absolutely, right? You could send happy Halloween cards, right? And from an event perspective, you could absolutely do an event at a pumpkin patch. 4th of July, Memorial Day, if you know your veterans in your organization, Jeff, how many times have you ever gotten a card that somebody sent you a note and said, thinking of you, have a happy Veterans Day or whatever? Have you ever gotten a card for that?
No.
No one's ever sent you a note on Veterans Day thanking you for your service. Shame on all of us. Okay? Who are the veterans in your role? What have you reached out, send a handwritten note for Veterans Day?
Other one is teachers.
Teachers.
Teacher appreciation week.
Except do it before teacher, we don't do it the same week, because the kids treat them like craziness that week, they got all kinds of love. How about the second week into school? Anybody bet, Jamie, what are the teachers like about week 2 of school? Wine, they're about done, right? They're not wine, they're not happy hour.
It's April or around
The end of
the end of the semester.
that last push.
Yeah. How cool would that be, right? To send a letter, send a card, send a note.
You're almost there.
Almost
There, one of them Starbucks on me.
exactly, right? So many cool ideas. All right, I'm gonna throw some out. What are you doing in social media to support the reach that you have with your database? Right? So you have your database in command, but you also have a database in your social media. And this is true for both Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. Okay? I refuse to TikTok. What are you doing there? Right? We need to be posting on a regular basis. The formula on social media says we should post 10 times a week. And of that, somewhere between 70 and 80% should be not real estate. Okay, you guys, some of you are my Facebook friends, right? A week and a half ago now already, I was driving away. You guys see that? So Thursday, I'm tired of driving, I give the keys to one of the kids, and I'm sitting in the back seat of the car, and I took my phone, and I literally took a 30-minute or 30-second little clip.
Flattered is.
And what I said was,
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of somewhere, and he guesses. I'm in the middle of somewhere, and he guesses. 625 views and 48 comments. Do you think people are looking at my Facebook? Are you posting fun stuff like that? Videos are huge. Videos are huge, and they don't have to be serious. Seriously, I posted a picture of Nebraska.
I have a question about that. Did you post it on your page or did you like post a reel?
I So, because I don't know how to do reels and stories,
Different.
so I just did it flat on my page, like I do everything, Stacy needs to teach me how to do some of this other stuff.
Yeah, I always.
So actually, Taylor Bondurant needs to teach me how to do some of this stuff.
Though, not a business page. Right.
Yeah, I do everything on my personal page, I have a business page, the only reason it has content is because of that woman right there, yeah.
I was just gonna say, I'm not like super social savvy, but I was proud of myself, because I did do a video, but it was just pictures. And Facebook makes it super simple. Literally, there was a button that was like, do you wanna make this a video? And I just clicked it and I added a song. I mean, it was so easy, so I'm just saying, you can even take just your photos of your weekend and make a fun video.
Elizabeth does a really nice job of that and
Yeah.
shows up on her stories. I'm old, so I don't really like stories because they disappear, and then when I wanna go back and look at it, you guys have all taken it down already. But I know that they're valuable, right? So learning how to implement those into your business. So Liz, we were talking earlier today. And you were telling me a story about, you had posted an open house that you did very early.
That was actually on my story.
Okay, well, you posted somewhere on you posted on social media that you were doing an open house, okay? And the open house, tell me about the open house.
I didn't get any clients out of it.
Everybody, this will sound familiar, everybody that came was represented, wasn't that what we were seeing a year ago? Okay? Now, what are we working on right now? What were we working on today?
A deal, a potential deal that technically did come out of that open house, but it wasn't from a person who walked through the door.
And so you have a potential listing and buyer because you posted on your personal page in some fashion about an open house. This individual was the first person to comment on your post, story, reel, whatever it was. And you picked up a dialogue with them. And they've now called you to sell their current property and buy their new one because the realtor they had in the past, they didn't get a lot of warm fuzzies from, they don't feel like they got a good deal. But you're telling me open houses don't work. Post these open houses on your social media. When you go to Taylor's Preview Fridays, take some cool pictures. Right? Taylor does a good job of making sure the properties that she's taking you to are allowing us to do that.
Arden and I have also been editing them and helping one another, so it's not even like you have to make the content at all the times.
And we just send the videos already edited to each other and then do different voiceovers.
There you go. Find a buddy.
It's usually just-
Who wants to be my buddy? I don't know how to do anything, but. Right? Here's the thing. Post, 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 post. Post about your work. Post about your social life. Post about your activities. Post stupid questions. Here's a good one. Now, we're about a week before Thanksgiving. Just curious, Christmas tree before or after? You'll get a lot of commentary. And that's good, because that means they're seeing your page.
Yeah.
And if they're commenting about whether I should put the Christmas tree up before or after the turkey, means that they're seeing what? They're seeing your other stuff. They're seeing your open houses. The Market Center is giving you on a silver platter every Sunday. Romy sends out 5 posts that you can use. You can take them the way they are, you can tweak them a little bit, you can change the colors, check spelling, you can do whatever you want to do, or you can just post them. So you only need 2 to 3 real estate posts a week, we're giving you 5. Then you got Command Designs, which gives you all holidays. I did see a couple of people posting about, I can never say it right, Indigenous People Day. Corporate gave us a post on that. Are you using them? It's super, I can even do that. Download it from Google, put it in your downloads, and post it again. Super easy. Super easy. Okay? So social media, I cannot tell you how much important that is. The other thing that's super important in social media is you gotta trick the algorithms. You need to be commenting. Not just like, comment. on 75 other people's posts a week. Did I hear whoa? Okay,
But they still have to have more than 5 words.
I would have more than 5 words, so. Appreciate that, right? That's 10 a day. It's actually 11 a day, but that's who's counting, right?
Yeah.
So 11 times a day, I need to engage with someone else's page. So there's this beautiful tool in Facebook where if you go to the search bar and type birthdays, it will tell you everybody's birthdays that they're having, because everybody was having a birthday that day. So you can, not only did you send them a card, or maybe you're making a phone call, or you're sending them a video, but you could, just on their wall, right? Happy birthday, hope you're having a fabulous day. Or if you really want to take it to the next level, Jamie does a great job with this, she puts together images. Or she goes and she finds photos of her with them. I do believe you have to do more than HBD. I do think you have to do more than happy birthday. Right? But I think it's pretty easy to add 3 words to happy birthday.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's not, have a great week, here's to another year around the sun. Right? You can do all that stuff. Right? Someone posts a picture of their kids in their Halloween costumes. Go have some fun. Right? Maybe somebody posts, and I have this a lot in mind, prayers needed. Right? People sometimes will give you a clue like something's not going well, but they don't necessarily tell you a whole lot. I typically won't comment on that post, but I will go to their direct message and I'll send them a note. And it'll say something like, I'm not sure what's going on. If you need anything, I'm a phone call away. So Facebook recognizes direct messages and your commentary on their posts and their pictures. If you can do that to 10 to 11 people every day, by the way, you can do this at 3 o'clock in the morning, because guess what? You're not gonna wake anybody up. You're not gonna start there. If you're at 0 today, you're not gonna go to 11 consistently tomorrow. But if you get super intentional on how you engage with other people's posts, you're going to then trick the algorithm that says, oh, Letitia likes Margaret's stuff. I need to make sure that Letitia and Margaret's stuff always goes to the top of their news feeds, which is how the people in your world see your stuff. Okay, questions? How are y'all feeling? Is this a little overwhelming? Or are you guys getting tons of ideas? All right, we have one more on here. Do we have lunches, Stacy?
No, we have coffees, but not lunches, so we could kind of put like coffee/lunch.
Lunches or happy hours, yeah. Right, something where you're out social with people. Oh, here's the one I'm missing.
What's that?
Mail, it's a direct mail, X number of handwritten cards or gratitude notes a week. You're welcome. I gotta tell you, handwritten notes are huge. They're absolutely huge, right?
It's wrong.
They're hard. Okay, I'm not wrong. But hey, it works. He's got a goal. How many does he send a day? Used to be 7. But he sends out notes to people, just says, hey, I'm thinking about it. Right? We're going into Thanksgiving. Social media is gonna be full of, 30 days of gratitude, right? You guys have all seen that little stuff that people do for a while, right? What would it look like even, and Debbie launches this program here in the Market Center every year about November. Right? And it's a challenge, and it's a personal challenge to each and every one. There's no reward for being the person who sends the most notes. But what would it be like if you sent a gratitude note to one person a day? Now, I will tell you, it's hard at first. Because you don't know what to say, it feels wonky, you're not really sure what to write. You guys, there's this new tool out. It's called ChatGPT. Go in and ask ChatGPT to give you a 3-sentence handwritten note of gratitude for someone you went to high school with. Tell it what you want it to do, and then get some ideas from it, and then make it your own. Make it real, all right? Okay, we have a whole bunch of ideas for Sphere Past Client. Can anybody think of any more? Okay, so I don't want you to pick all of those. Oh, yes, I do. Sorry, Stacy, I want one.
Okay.
Let's say that for some of you, you'll remember as part of the exercise last week, it was, how many people do I need in my database? How many of you have enough people in your database to hit goal? That's what I thought.
You're right.
You can never have enough, you should always be adding to it, right? You may put in as one of your strategies to add X number of people to your database. And you have to decide, based on your numbers, and I can help you back into that, but what's that number that you need to add? Okay, so then under it, you gotta start thinking about, well, how am I gonna add people to my database? And I gotta tell you, I think this is my favorite part of working with Sphere. Is we tell our kids, Christy, you're a little girl, too cute as button, okay? When you sent her off to school, when you guys moved in here for the very first time, what did you tell her? This could be a loaded question, I don't know what I want, but.
I know she's only 4, I'm trying to think of more now, just, I don't know, be yourself, like, be you.
Be yourself, be you, go make some new friends.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys to do the same thing with your business. Go do you, and go make new friends. So, if you need to add, and I don't know what the number is, you guys, but you need to add 100 people to your database, or maybe you need to add 500 people to your database. One of the ways you can do that is by going out and doing what you love. Because if I tell you to do something you don't like, you're not gonna go do it. Like if Casey said to me, Margaret, why don't you go join this mountain biking club I'm in? I'm gonna go, heck no. I don't remember the last time I rode a bike. Okay. And Elena's gonna say, well, why don't you join a hiking club? And I'm gonna laugh even harder. Right? But do you, what do you like to do? Are you a pickleball player? Are you a wine person and you wanna get really smart and you wanna become a wine, whatever that fancy word is? Yeah, that guy. That guy, right? If you wanna become one of those, go take classes. Maybe you love to cook. Go take a cooking class, go take a gourmet cooking class. Maybe you like to knit, maybe you like to quilt, maybe you like to play cards. I don't know what you like to do. Go do it where you don't know people that are already there. So for me, many of you know, I come from a bowling family, right? Steve's a professional bowler. I like to bowl, my mom bowled, our whole family bowls, most of our people bowl, my kids now bowl. Where do you think if I wanted to meet more people, I would probably go?
And some new leagues.
I'd go join a new bowling league because I would feel comfortable with those people. And there'd probably be 1 or 2 people in the league I knew, if it's a big enough one, but they're very likely to be people I don't know at all. What a great way to get to know them, doing something I already love. Most of the time. Right? So what is it for you? For those of you with kiddos, they're in football clubs, soccer clubs, motocross clubs. They're in all these different clubs. Are you communicating with the parents in a way that they know you're a realtor? Is your email signature say that you're a realtor, even if it's your personal email? So my email, regardless of whether it comes out of Comcast or KW, has the same signature box. Right? There was a friend of mine when Andy danced competitively. She was the dance mom who volunteered for everything. She was obnoxious. Okay? She volunteered to coordinate the fundraisers, and she coordinated all the rhinestoning parties, and she coordinated this, and she coordinated that, and she coordinated the dinners and competitions, and blah, 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 blah. It's really funny. You know what her email address was? I'm gonna change it so you can't figure out who it is, but it was Margaret G. Realtor at gmail.com. So everybody that typed in her email address
Mhm.
had to write what?
Realtor.
Realtor.
You think everybody knew she was a realtor?
Yeah.
Got a lot of business out of that dance club.
Sure she did.
So think about those ways to expand, this is all, you guys, we just touched database and we're an hour in. So what I want you to do now is I want you to grab 5 or 6 of them. And I want you to write them down. Like, of all the things that we wrote, what are the things you will do? By the way, I'm gonna hold you accountable to doing it. So if you don't wanna hear, how come you haven't hosted any events, then don't write down events. And in yours, I want you to be specific, how many events and what events. So maybe you're gonna host 2 events next year. Maybe in the spring, you're gonna do a shred event. I don't like that one, but it's the quickest one I could come up with the top of my head. And then maybe in the fall, you're gonna, in the winter, in Christmas, you're gonna do breakfast with Santa. What are you gonna do with your sphere next year to hit your goals?
That recycle event that we did, Sherry and I did in our neighborhood. Neighborhood Spirit, or whatever, it was like $800, but we closed already at least one deal from it. And we have 2 or 3 pending. No,
Oh,
the paint one was free, but electronics.
Oh, right.
So. if
And that one, you hit your
curious,
sphere and your geographic farm.
mostly just our farm, we didn't do a good job of fitting our sphere, we should have next time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how did you get your name as a realtor out there in that environment?
Postcard.
Okay.
to all of the
Postcard,
users.
Facebook groups, next door,
Yeah.
we're gonna go into that in geofarming.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was good.
Yeah.
Again, what do people want?
Yeah.
Is better there.
And some of it you're gonna guess, like some of it you're gonna get wrong, like we did a shred event, and it wasn't horrible.
Mhm.
And if I was gonna do it again, I would do it differently, but I didn't do it this year.
What I think a cool event would be with, I have a million kids in a million different sports, would be like a gear exchange.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah, I think for your group, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Really?
For me, it would not make sense at all.
Yeah, that'd be really.
I love it, but the brains are going now, right? You guys are starting to think outside the box,
Yeah.
and this is becoming doable,
Yeah.
right? Some of you have been saying that this year about your goals. This feels more doable than what I did last year.
Right.
Right, so that's good. The only other thing I would say is that it's really, like, this is a baseline. Hey, I'm not gonna say that. Let's see.
Don't forget.
Say 138 to me on that.
138.
Got it.
Okay, you guys got it? You got your 5 or 6?
Yeah.
By the way, I know Stacy or Elizabeth, one of them has taken, attendance here, so we will make sure this list gets emailed out to all of you as well. But I want you to walk away with you got some strategies written down.
Ideas.
Okay, all right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
I am, I'm bored. Okay,
Let's talk about open houses.
okay, Zoom land, y'all got any questions? You guys are so quiet today. They're all, okay, open houses. I put this one on here because when you work an open house, and open houses are the best way to put yourself in front of people who are actively considering buying and or selling a property. Sometimes the one person that walks into the open house is considering both, right, Jeff?
Yep.
Right? So it's a great way to find business if you don't have a big sphere, you don't have a big repeat business, and it makes sense for your life. For some of you, it doesn't make sense for your life, and I'm okay with that. Right? Jen's got 4 boys and 4 you have all boys?
Three boys in a row.
Okay, so you got 4 kids in multiple sports, you have 7 boys in multiple sports, right? Who's got time to do open houses on the weekend when you have that? So that's why this is going to be specific to you, but there's enough of you here that do open houses that I wanna dive it, okay? And there's going to be things you hear us talk about in open houses that are also gonna work in the last one we're gonna do, and I promise I'm not gonna take an hour on each segment, but Sphere is the one that has the most fun with it and the most options, okay? And there's probably other options we didn't even think of.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to open houses, we know the numbers, right? And we are in a numbers-based business. And these are averages. And there's something about an average. Sometimes the number result is 0. And sometimes the result is 50. But when you average enough numbers together, you get a reoccurring theme. Is that a fair statement? In anything in life, right? We know the numbers say, on average, you will make 10 contacts an open house. Now, if there's 2 realtors that are working that open house together, that 10 just became 5. Okay? So depending on what your numbers become, you want to figure out based on your numbers, how many open houses you need to do a month or a week or whatever your number is. Okay? We also know that there's many levels to do an open house. You can do level 1, which is you stick a couple signs out and you open the front door. Or we can go all the way up to a 7th level, which is there's 15 plus directional arrows up. You've door knocked 100 houses, you've done social media ads, you sent out an email to all your sphere, like there's a whole great big level, right? I don't know that you need to go to the extreme to have a successful open house. But I do believe and I do know from the first 2 years in the business when I was heavy open houses, that if you door knock the neighborhood, it does increase your traction. And it's always fascinating to me who opens the door. We have had people who literally, we've left the flyer on the front door or they opened the door when we invited the neighbors to the open house, who ultimately were getting ready to sell themselves. And it's created a conversation and we've ultimately got the listings. Okay. This morning on the Facebook group, Pivot Shift Ahead, and I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I listened to the first few minutes of it this morning. James talked about how to use open houses to drive more listings in your business. So if you are an open house person, and some of you are, I want you to go listen to James. Okay? Because he's gonna tell you how to do it, but here's the takeaway I heard this morning in the first 10-15 minutes. Especially if it's your listing. Do the neighborhood only VIP open house and then do the one to the public. Now you can do that a couple different ways. You can do that with a sip and see on a separate day. And for some of you, depending on your market or the area you're working in, you might actually have a full spread. You might have charcuterie boards. I know Bob's had stuff catered in for 3 sons. You may or may not choose to serve adult beverages. But you do something special for the neighbors. That's a great way to maximize your open houses to find future listings. But you don't always have to do a separate sip and see. Because many of you are saying, well, Margaret, I'm a brand new agent. I don't have the listing. I'm not gonna get 2 open houses out of this. Okay, then do a 3-hour open house in which the first hour is only for the neighbors. And you tell them that. Our open house is going to be open to the general public from 1 to 3, however, for the neighbors, we're open from 12 to 1. We're letting you in first. So for those of you that do open houses for other listing agents, do an open house, do that first hour, neighbors only. Now, if somebody else walks in, you're not going to kick them out. Somebody would, Arden, okay? Just like somebody would have sent the guy from Santa Fe who came into our open house late and kicked him out, and I'm glad we didn't an hour later. But it was worth it, right? So think about how to do it, right? So you're gonna do an open house at the highest level. Some things you might put in your strategies are, how many per week, you're gonna door knock X number of doors per open house. We know that the numbers say a third of the people that you knock on the doors will open. And I think that might be higher now, because more people are home, because they're working from home. There's a lot of people that even from the pandemic are lonely, because they're stuck at home now, their job isn't letting them come back, the company has gone to remote only, and they're lonely as heck. They can't wait to talk to you. But I would say for every 25 doors that you knock on, you're gonna get 8 conversations. So how many doors are you gonna knock? Top expectation of the model is 100 doors per open house. That's a lot. That's about 4 hours worth of door knocking. I did that once. I thought I was gonna die. I had to go to Dairy Queen and get a Slurpee and then come back. It was hot. It was like a full Sabo, and it was like in August, and she goes, "You have to door knock 100 doors," and I was like, okay. I like 50. 50 is good, especially if you go out with somebody else, then you're done in an hour, hour and a half. Right? So door knock it. I gotta tell you guys have gotta do the directional arrows. The more signs you put up, the higher traffic you're gonna get. In coaching, we have the coaching signs, which, oh, by the way, last weekend, it was so much fun driving through Candelas and Lane Rock and seeing our signs everywhere. Like, I should have paid Arden's mom to drive around with a video, because we had I was like being very strategic where I put my open house signs, so I didn't put them right over the top of the neighbors. Like, I had to track in between her so that we didn't hide each other. But get strategic. Don't be the realtor who puts one sign in the corner. Right? You gotta have a bunch of signs, and people will follow them if there's enough. We'll talk about this a little bit in the geo-farming part, but if you're geo-farming a neighborhood and you're finding open houses that are by other realtors, you wanna have branded signs to yourself as soon as you can justify the expense of your business. And the reason why is this, is that if I'm driving through the neighborhood and I see Liz's open house signs when I'm going home from the grocery store, am I gonna see her 15 signs or the one for sale panel that's in front of the house? Her 15 signs. And then the next weekend, I'm driving home from soccer and, oh my God, there's Liz again. And then following weekend, I'm driving home from the grocery store, and, oh my God, there's that Liz person again. Who's the busiest realtor in the neighborhood?
Liz is.
Liz. Okay, so that works in farming when you're branded. Yes, ma'am.
That happened at the open house I was at last weekend. It was with Amanda. And a lady had come in and said, "Oh my gosh, I see your signs everywhere. Like, if I ever decide to sell my house, I'm calling you." Like, she said that verbatim.
Yep, they were all over.
Yeah.
Okay, what else can we do in open houses to maximize it?
Post about it online.
Okay, go farther, Stacy.
You can do posts on your personal page, on your business page, you can do paid ads, there's so many options.
So social media, they're funny. Social media is up above. We can use social media for so many things, right? You can tell people about the open house on your personal page. Liz just testified it worked. Okay, you can do paid ads, targeted paid ads. You can put it on your business page. You could go live from the open house in any of the different platforms, right? The more you post about it, the better off it'll be, right? So I watch Amanda and Nikki do this. They do this at a really high level, as does Taylor. But what I see them do is they post a reel, a story, and a post on their personal page about their open house. They just don't do it at the same time. And, oh, by the way, they're a team, so they both do it, and then they both do it on their business pages. And they do it on their Instagram, and they do it on their Instagram page. So for me, if I don't know about Amanda and Nikki's open houses, I'm a crazy person, because I see it everywhere when they're doing one. Right? You're not gonna have that with your people, right? So put it out there, right? Maybe you post a teaser on Wednesday. Right? Then you post something else on Friday, or if your open house is on Saturday. And then you post one while you're live. Get creative and figure out what your people respond to. Right? But what's interesting is that you may not know until a year later. Okay, what else? Could you email your database? Could you send an email to every single person in your database, inviting them to your open house? One of the things we've talked about doing, meaning we haven't gotten it done yet, but I think it's a good idea, is sub-segmenting with tags our database.
Yeah.
Northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, and out of state. So if I'm hosting an open house in southeast part of Denver Metro, I can email everybody that's in my database that lives in the southeast part of town. If I'm hosting an open house in Northwest Arvada, then I could send it to my Northwest people. Or I could just blast it to my whole database, if neither one's wrong. What do you wanna do? What else could you do with open house? I'm gonna go back to social media. There are some Facebook groups
Oh, yeah.
in the area, and because I don't have my phone, I can't go look them up, but you can find them.
They're open house.
There's Denver open houses, there's Denver realtors, there's a whole list, I don't know that this one is really valid anymore, but, what is it? It's inventory support group,
Yeah.
right? Back when we didn't have an inventory, we would post our listings there.
Yeah.
Using those Facebook pages, you would be surprised how many times a realtor who didn't find you in the MLS finds it there. So it's another great place, it's another place to put energy around your open houses where other people are seeing it.
Do you wanna put, I mean, think about what you're giving out at the open house, whether it's flyer, whether it's branded items, whether it's.
Yeah, collateral, what's your marketing collateral? Flyers, are you doing a raffle at your open houses? Right? Man, people were willing to fill out those sign-in sheets this weekend because they could get registered for $100 gift card at Bluegrass. I've never had it so easy using a sign-in sheet. I didn't even use my feedback
What was
forms.
the other one?
$100 gift card to Bluegrass.
Oh,
Now, you're going, Margaret, I'm a brand new agent.
You can do
$100 gift card every open house? Arden, how many are you doing this weekend? 3? She's going, yeah, no, that's not in the budget. Then do one for everybody who attends any of your open houses in the month of November. Anybody that does everyone who comes to an open house in the 4th quarter. Anybody who registers at an open house, whenever. It doesn't have to be one for every open house.
Right.
Or if you really want to get creative, Arden and Taylor can say, okay, let's go together and let's give away something good. And then, just like we did in the 5 open houses, we all had our own contacts and put it on a prize wheel. Didn't mean that it had to be my open house people that won. Right? So if you wanted to do a higher level prize, 2 or 3 of you could go together and say, we got all these open houses this weekend, let's give away X. And then we'll just put a prize wheel together and whoever contact comes up is the winner. If nobody from my open house wins, that's okay too. There's a million ways to do it, but people will give you their blood type to win a $5 Starbucks. Even people who don't drink Starbucks. Okay.
Yeah, missing anything?
For our marketing materials, right, if you're gonna go door knocking, you're gonna have to have flyers, right, for that. There's all kinds of templates in Command, they're super easy to put together. Some of you have built your own in Canva, you've got some pretty cool stuff out there. All right, anything else with open houses? I got some open house pros in here, what am I missing?
I just wanna say they work because, and I have a favorite lender that I like to work with, he's my good luck charm. Every single open house I've done with them, the buyer has come to the open house, no joke.
So when are you firing Sherry from your?
I know, he's out of town this weekend. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
That's fine.
And he got a deal out of it too, so.
So for those of you that are open house people, right, who are you doing them with? Office role, nobody does one alone. I don't care if you have a concealed carry, I don't care if you work out like Charles does, no one does them alone. And there's two reasons. One is safety, yours. Here's the second piece. If you get busy at an open house, and I don't mean you don't even have to be swamped, right? But if you have a good flow of people, what is the likelihood that if they're coming in a couple groups at a time, are you really gonna be able to have good conversations with everybody that walks in the door? No. So would it be better to have someone else there to catch them and have a good conversation with them versus you lose them completely? Right? The other thing is, I hate to tell you this, I love you all. Not everyone's going to. Our personalities are such that some people work better with other types of people. So having someone else there also magnifies the opportunity for the win. Okay, so long before MG Homes was Margaret and Stacy, we still worked open houses together. We've been working open houses together since December of 2014. And we didn't join partnership till what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago, maybe now? It's been a while. But we still would work open houses together and we enjoyed it. We worked well together. We complimented each other. And you know what? Do Stacy and I have the same personality? Not even close, right? There are some people that they like her a whole lot better than they like me.
Vice versa.
And there's a whole lot of other people that like my aggressiveness. Right? Now, if they walk in with an Iowa Hawkeye shirt, they're mine. And if they tell me they're a first time home buyer, they're, because I don't like working with buyers that much, right? So, but finding someone who complements, means you both win. Right? And isn't that what we want as a market center, as a group, as a coaching group? Don't we want each other to win? Right? And if I'm working with Letitia at the open house and somebody falls in love with her, I'm thrilled for her. Go get it, girl. Bring it home. Right? Because the next time I'm gonna go. If you do enough open houses with the same people, it all comes out in the wash. There's gonna be some days that they're gonna walk home with 3 or 4 leads and you might go home with nothing, but the next time it's gonna balance out. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. All right, anything else about open houses? Am I missing anything? Taylor, you do a lot of open houses. Am I missing anything?
Follow up.
Oh, dang it, Jeff. Okay, follow up. All right, so this will have a few. All right. The fortunes in the follow-up, and that's true in all parts of our business. If you work in open house, you don't have a follow-up plan or a follow-up system, then stop doing open houses and let somebody else do it. I'm just gonna be honest. There are a couple of good follow-up systems. You gotta write your own, but there's a combination of a couple of them I like. First of all, my follow-up system is maybe you wanna do a handwritten note to everybody who came in. That would be one of the first things I would do. Send a handwritten note. Because remember, not everybody sends them. Arden and I each sent one this weekend to the same people because they came to 2 different houses. And so in our conversation today, I went, oh, you sent them a note too. Dang it. Good for you, right? Handwritten notes, send them a text. If you go out to our Facebook group, there is an open house follow-up system that I R&D'd from another group. And it literally tells you a combination of texts and emails and phone calls for open house follow-up. And the first text literally happens as they walk out the door. Thanks so much for stopping by the open house. This is Margaret. I really enjoyed blah, 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 blah. It's got a nice little script. By the way, it works. I sold Arden's parents by using that script. I was hosting an open, their house was on the market. I was hosting the open house. Some lady walked in. I don't know, it just felt right. And I said to Stacy, I said, I'm gonna try that follow-up system. And I sent her a text and I'll be dang if she didn't answer it. And we were under contract by noon the next day. That doesn't happen all the time, but I'm telling you, anything works, nothing doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? That's a Jim Carroll quote, not a Margaret quote. So use that follow-up system, go out to Facebook and find it. Another thing is when you get them back to the office, put them in your CRM. I recommend Command, because you're already paying for it. So put them in your CRM and put them on a smart plan. So you want their email. So what's your marketing plan for open houses? So you get to decide. So we could drill down into that, right? And we could say, they're gonna get one email a month. And maybe you're gonna use one of Kimber Walton's smart plans, you guys all know I love her stuff, because it's set it and forget it. But maybe you've gone out and found a killer open house smart plan that I haven't found in the library out there, you wanna bring that into your business, go for it. Okay, maybe you wanna write your own, right? Maybe you're one of those creative people that knows how to do that, I'm about just get it done. You wanna write your own follow-ups to open houses, do it. Maybe you're gonna put them on a direct mail campaign, maybe you're gonna incorporate them into the same direct mail campaign you have on your Sphere. By the way, we didn't put in Sphere sports schedules. Those are a great add-on to make direct mail as sports schedules. You gotta do something with the open houses. Now, we talked about last week about a follow-up system that one of the people that I like to coach with uses when they're calling it expireds and FSBOs, and I would argue that it works for open houses. It's 3 times a day, 3 days in a row. 3, 3 by 3 by 3. And some of you just went, do you want me to do what? Aren't they gonna like think I'm harassing them? Well, here's what the survey said last week. Not a single person in this room reads every email that comes to them, even if it's from somebody they want to hear from. Is that true?
True.
Does everybody read every single text message that you receive? You do, okay? Then I'm betting the realtor insurance people love sending these.
Oh, well, actually those, yeah, no.
So you don't, so you don't,
Yeah,
right?
political ones.
The political one, yeah, right. And what's the news? Oh, and all the fix and flippers,
Yeah.
right? And then there's some guy, he just says, hi, that's all he writes.
Oh, I hate those.
I just like, someday they'll figure out I don't want to talk to him. Okay, but not everybody reads every text message, not everybody reads every email, and guess what, not everybody picks up every phone. And I'm told voicemails are for old people now. I guess people don't listen to voicemails anymore.
I do.
Yay, thank you, Arden, I have faith now. Okay, so here's the thing, if you call somebody at 9 o'clock in the morning as a follow-up to the open house and they don't respond, and you send them a text message at noon, 1 o'clock, and they don't respond, and then you send them an email that evening and they don't respond, that's okay, they probably only saw one of them at best. So then the next day, you text them at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you send them an email in the middle of the day, and you call them at the end of it. And on day 3, you email them first thing in the morning, you call them in the middle of the day, and you text them at the end of the day, and aren't you guys crazy, amazed that I can remember which order I need to do every day? Here's the thing, they're only gonna recognize maybe 1 or 2 of those touches. They are not going to realize that you hit them 3 times in 3 days. Now, there's another statistic out there about follow-up that I want to talk about, and someone this morning in a one-on-one brought this up to me. I have a great conversation with them at the open house, and then they don't reply to me, they don't respond. Well, if you're doing other things in life, and if you went to an open house, but you really weren't ready today, right? You were just kind of like in the beginning stages, or you were just snooping around, you weren't really ready. But you had all these other things going on in life, right? You have kids doing homework, you're running around sports, you've got a job, you've got a spouse, oh my God, they said that it's only 10 weeks till Christmas, so we all better get busy buying Christmas presents this morning, like I heard that on the radio. Like all these things, is returning a phone call from an open house your top priority? No, but does it mean that you don't care about hearing from that person?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, right? So one, if they don't respond right away, it's not you. But here's what I do know. On average, it takes 7 to 9 follow-up attempts over a period of time for people to respond. They typically don't respond until their 7th or 8th attempt in the follow-up. Do you know how many realtors have the stamina to keep going after 2 or 3? Now, most of them don't do it after the first call. And if there's a bunch of them on open houses, they don't even make the first call. So what I'm gonna say is, keep going until this is my theory on follow-up. Until either A, they tell you to go away, or B, you find out they're dead. You keep going. Keep going. Okay? Questions? All right, so follow up. All right, we got it all in there, okay. Whew,
I do have
that should eat lunch someday. But,
So, this kind of goes with open houses, but maybe more of like the newsletter, maybe to your sphere. So if someone, like if you've created a newsletter to your sphere and someone unsubscribes from it, should you not reach out to them like at all for like newsletters and those things? Maybe you can still send them like birthday cards or whatever. But with those things, obviously they ask to like not be sent email notification or email stuff.
if they unsubscribe from my email, then my emails aren't gonna go through anymore. But it didn't say I couldn't send them a mail. It didn't send I couldn't call them. And you do have to follow TCPA as far as do not call. So if it's an open house follow-up, if the open house was longer ago than 6 months, you need to check the do not call list to find out if they're there or not. Okay, and so yeah, as part of, I mean, what I've been working on in my particular database is I've got old open house leads from 2014. Right, and so I'm now looking them all up on the do not call list. If they're on the do not call list and they've unsubscribed from my email, and I don't have a mailing address from them, I believe. Right, but you guys, most of you guys aren't there, right? Now, the next question that I'm gonna anticipate some of you are asking but won't is, well, how do I find out if they're on the do not call list or not? Am I thinking that? That should be. Okay, so Google is my friend. I don't remember exactly how to do all this, but here's the good news. It's free. And it's easy, right? So Google, do not call registry, right? Like, how do I look at, you could Google, how do I look up a number that's on the do not call list? You create an account. You have to tell it what area codes you want the ability to work with. And I can have, how many, Stacy? Is it 5?
Yeah.
I can have 5, so know the 5 area codes in our area. And then once you get your account, you log on to your account, and then it's super easy, like it comes up with this screen and it says, what's the area code, and you type in the numbers. Now, the part that irritates me is that every time I log into the account, they call me to verify it's me, and I have to hit a button so that then it actually gives me access to it. So I would love to be able to just give you guys all my account, but I'm not gonna answer my phone every time Microsoft calls me to verify somebody's on the do not call list. So set up your own accounts, it's super easy to use. Okay?
The one thing I would say is, yeah, this free account, you can look up, you say what area code, so if they gave you a cell phone code from New York or something, again, you can't look them up, so.
People never change their phone numbers when they.
Yeah, and so that part gets a little harder, now, but if they gave you their information at the open house, that's why it's so important to follow up with them right away and try to create a conversation. Because once you have a conversation going with them, it's not like, oh my gosh, we've been talking for the last 6 months, but now I can't talk to you anymore because it's been 6 months. No, if they've responded to you, you still have that right to keep talking to them.
But I have a past client that I have not spoken to since closing, not by lack of attempts on my part.
Right.
His phone number's on the do not call list, I won't call him anymore. I'll still email, I'll still do everything else, but I won't call him.
Call and text, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just being aware. All right, last one. We're gonna make it. How we doing, Zoomland? You guys are so quiet out there. Are you napping? I don't know who that is that causes all of that. Anyway,
I don't know either.
you're good. All right, I love it. I love it. All right, geographical farming. So let's define it. Geographical farming is an area that has boundaries on a map. Okay, so, I don't know, I'm gonna pick on Sherry, or Mara, I can pick on Sherry, Sherry's not here.
She's not here.
I'm gonna pick on Mara, so her and her business partner Sherry, they do spring mason. Okay, so it's a community in a specific area, right? Some of you, the best place to start farming is the neighborhood in which you live, right? Because that's who your people are. And it's gonna be the easiest, because they're gonna see you when you're out walking the dog, they're gonna see you when you're out jogging, hiking, whatever you do. So you're gonna pick your geographical farm. So what are some ways that we can build relationships in business within a geographical farm? So give me some ideas.
Well, we do a lot of events. I mentioned the event.
Hold on.
Oh,
So we're gonna do events. Okay, so in events, you're gonna decide how many. So just like we brainstormed events up in Sphere, we're gonna brainstorm some events, but I'm gonna let Mara give you one. And then we're gonna brainstorm and then we can fill in the gaps. Is that fair? Okay, so give me an example of one of your events.
well, we do a food truck on the third Thursday of every month, April to October.
So you arrange for food trucks to come into your neighborhood. How much do you buy everybody's food every month?
Nope.
Nope. All you do is arrange for the food truck. Now, some of them have guarantees. And I've not heard too often of any of the agents that do this actually having to pay the minimum, maybe once or twice over a long period of time, but if you get one closing, you're happy to do it. But so you're going, well, why would I do that? Well, you would do that because A, you have to market the food trucks. Well, whose name's on the market?
Okay.
Maybe you create a sandwich board that says, food truck sponsored by, in your name of your business. You're there at the food truck. Maybe you set up a tent. By the way, the office has an easy up tent, y'all can borrow, it's branded, it says Keller Williams. Right? Maybe you set up a tent, you're hanging out under the tent, you're networking with the neighbors. What a lot of the food trucks will do is they will donate a certain portion of the proceeds to whatever charity that you choose.
We stopped doing
You did, but not everyone has, right? But you can do those types of different things, right? Your entire impact on this is the organization and the marketing of it. And where are you gonna market it? You're gonna market it in Nextdoor, you're gonna market it on the community Facebook page. You guys have gone out and bought directional arrow signs that say food truck and it's got your business name on it, right?
it.
So just like everybody sees our signs at open houses every Thursday, every third Thursday,
Yeah.
every third Thursday, they're seeing the food truck signs. The food truck is in the same place every month. Right? So you could do something like that. What are some other ideas for events? Fire away. Neighborhood garage sale. What else? Anita, you guys are doing some of this. What are some ideas for events in the farms?
We're getting ready to do a photo with Santa, breakfast and photo with Santa coming up for the holidays. And
So
then,
you just, sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
I would say, just like you can do a holiday event for your sphere, you can do a separate holiday event for your farm. Okay? What else?
Host a contest, a neighborhood contest,
Say that again.
host a neighborhood contest.
Like neighborhood lighting contests, yeah? You can do coloring contests at trick or treat time. Somebody was telling me the other day that when they're handing out candy on trick or treat night, they're going to include a coloring sheet for all of the kids, instead of taking your business card on the cooked chocolate bars. Please don't do that. They're doing a coloring sheet that they're giving each of the kids with the full-size candy bar. And then the coloring sheet has their brand on it, and it says, after you've colored this, text it, or however they're gonna have it returned, and your kid can win a prize, like a $10 gift card at Target. That's a much better way to communicate with the parents about your real estate business than it is sticking your business card on the back of the sticker store. And plus, then you can create other fun around it with the coloring contest, and then you figure out you can put them all up and have everybody vote on whose is the best, and like, there's so much content you can put into that, right? What else? Give me some other ideas for neighborhood events. Drinks in the driveway. Love that one. What else?
About egg hunt at Easter.
Egg hunts, yeah. trunk or treats,
The food drive around Thanksgiving.
food drives, you could do any kind of charity drive, right? Food drives, sock drives, mitten drives, shoe drives, like, there's so many all year round that you could be doing, right? What else?
S'mores. Fireworks and s'mores.
Yeah, you could do a fire pit night, yeah, with s'mores, yeah.
I like the one, the Castles might do it, where they have the kids, like decorate their bikes and they do a little parade of, when do they do that one?
The Fourth of July kids parade.
It's fun, it seems like a fun one if you have a lot of kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah. If your community has, events that you can either sponsor or create or participate in with door prizes, right? So in Candelas, once a year, they do Candelas Fest, and it's basically right after school starts, very chill, kid friendly, very family friendly. But, you know, you put up a tent there, you have a raffle to give away something, then like all of those things, right? You can get involved in those type of community events. I had one that just went through my brain and I forgot about it. Any of the recycle events that Mara was talking about, right? You could do the shredding event, you could do the electronic recycling, you could do a paint recycle. Any of those types of things can absolutely work for, what I'm talking about those events is you can hit both your sphere and your geofarm, because you're gonna have them all come to one location.
Movie in the park or something.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Movies in the park, oof.
I know, you guys had a hard time, but some people do great with them, so. you know.
Yeah, movies in the park, just make sure that the park knows to turn the sprinklers on.
Right?
I have a friend who works with a company called WeCycle, and they do a lot of like baby items like diapers and in my old neighborhood, I hosted like a diaper drive. So, you know, giving to a charity.
Yep,
That way.
that's a charity, yeah.
Any of those, right? I love it. All right, so neighborhood events is a good one. All right, so anything else, Mara, did we miss any? I know you guys do a bunch of them.
Let's see, just, no, Popeye's favorite things, no,
Those are sphere based.
yeah, well, true.
And now for some of you, right, and I know this is true for Sherry and Mara and some others. Are there people in your geographical farm who are also considered sphere?
Yes.
Absolutely, right? Be very careful not to say they're the same. Right? If you have a big market share in your neighborhood, it would be very easy to say, oh, my neighborhood is my sphere. That's not true, because there's people in the neighborhood you don't know. Sphere are people that you know. Are there people that could be in both categories all day long? Right? Just understand that sometimes the stuff overlaps, and that's okay, but sometimes they're very separate.
Yeah.
Okay, so like your favorite things party, yeah, your invite list is 90% people that live in your neighborhood, but it's not the entire neighborhood that you're inviting.
Right.
So it's just the sphere who just so happen to live in your geographic farm.
Right.
Okay. All right, what else can we do for geographical farming? We killed events, what else?
Door knocking.
The door knock. Okay. When you door knock, what are you door knocking with? Give me some ideas. Christina Kionis, what's a good door knocking piece? Okay. You could do market update. Right? Rachel Adams Lee, who some of you know is a very successful realtor out of Southern California. And she built an entire business on door knocking her neighborhood. And what she would do is the front side of whatever item of value, was usually either she was inviting them to the open house that she was hosting in her neighborhood, or it was a market update. The back side of it, right, because paper's got two sides, instead of letting side 2 be blank, the other side would be top 10 Christmas light displays. Where are all the haunted houses? It would be your charity food drive, or charity coat drive. It would be where to see the fireworks over the 4th of July. It would be the best drives in Colorado to go leaf peeping, right? But put something that's going to hit the refrigerator. Okay, so you've got one side is an item of value that you're door knocking with, whether it's a open house invite, it could be market stats, but then the other side make it something a little more touchy-feely, because that's what's gonna stick to the refrigerator. Okay, yeah, we go door knocking. All right, what else can we do?
Really?
We do direct mail. Absolutely. Good to have you here. Direct mail, what are you gonna send out? How often are you gonna send it out? Just like in the sphere, you can do the same thing in your geographic farm, right? What are you sending out? When you're mailing into your farm, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. If you have more than 250 pieces, you could use bulk mail. So like if you go through like land title or a service like that does the mailing, it's a cheaper postage rate with the bulk rate. Another thing that's very interesting to use if it maps out correctly in your farm is to use EDDM. So, and I normally see it with the Chinese restaurants. I don't know why it's them. But you know when you get the mailer and it says resident and then it just got, it's like all it says is residence, it doesn't have your actual address on it. What that is that they have taken their pieces to the mail, to the post office and said, I want everybody in this postal carrier route to get this piece of mail. So it works, for some farms, it works really, really well. When I was farming Applewood, the problem I had is there was a little piece right in the middle of the streets that I did that was a completely different postal carrier route. So I had to actually buy 2 carrier routes and then I got all these people I didn't care about. So it was cheaper for me to go down to the bulk rate instead of doing the cheaper EDDM. So just look this stuff up in the postal service. If you're gonna do mail, it all works, it's just getting it out there, okay? So yeah, direct mail, what kind of pieces are you gonna send? What are you gonna do? What's it gonna be like? All that type of stuff, right? What else?
I liked earlier use of branded signs if you do open houses in your.
Okay,
in your
so let's
farm.
put open houses down there. Stacy is the actual item. So open houses in your farm. Well, what if you don't have a listing? What if nobody in our office has a listing, which is what you want, because you don't want each other in each other's neighborhood, but I'd rather have your sign next door than somebody else's. Okay, so what do? You can absolutely go out and look for people who have listings in your neighborhood. And you can reach out to those brokers who are the listing agent and offer to do an open house with them. Now, are they all gonna say yes? No. Are they all gonna pick up the phone? No. No, but isn't that mind-boggling? A listing agent won't pick up their phone? No. Yeah, like it blows my mind, right? But once you get approval from that agent to do the open house, then you just implement your open house strategy from above. Right? Yep. And using the signs that are branded so that they know that Liz is hosting all the open houses in the neighborhood. Right? That's gonna be your key. Now, if you're gonna do open houses and it's from people from outside our brokerage, you have to have an email from the listing agent giving you permission to host an open house in their listing. We need something from the listing agent / seller because it's not our market center. So make sure that you're getting that. For those of you that are hosting open houses with Courtney, the fact that she sends you an email every week saying, would you like to host an open house at this event? You don't have to look for another one, that one crosses the box. But if you've reached out to somebody at Coldwell Banker and they say, absolutely, go host an open house, just make sure you get something in writing. Keep it in a folder in your inbox or something so you have it. But that is a killer way to really make a stand. And there are some of the teams that are in coaching that do heavy geographic farming. They have a following at their open houses. So Arden, you've done some of the ones out in our neighborhood. We see the same people at every single one of those open houses. I swear they come from where the charcuterie was. Right?
Parents included.
Yeah, right. So, but guess what? If you start doing that on a regular basis, when they're getting ready to sell, who are they gonna think about? You. And remember, your neighborhood is watching how you do business. So every time you do an open house, whether it's in your neighborhood or not, you are interviewing for a job with every single neighbor and everybody that drives down the street and just didn't know you were interviewing. If you do this at a high level in your farm, you absolutely are going to make a roadway, and it won't take long. Okay? So branded signs, all the things. What else? Well, you know I got one.
Do we have the Facebook community group up there? Did we already do that one for your
No.
neighborhood?
No, because this is all we got. We got events, door knocking, direct mail, open houses, and community Facebook pages.
Next door,
I'm sorry, what?
next.
And the Nextdoor app is another good one too, right? But I would break those differently. So in the community Facebook group, does your neighborhood have a community Facebook group? If the answer is no, create it. And go start putting some content on it. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna door knock. And you're going to, and I have a screenshot of one that works. Casey and I got this when we were up in Traverse City earlier this year. But when you create a flyer and it says, thanks for being a great neighbor in Spring Mesa. Join our new Facebook group, Spring Mesa Friends and Families. And they put the QR code on. It'll take them directly to the Facebook page to join it. Then, in that same door knocking piece, it's for all of our friends and neighbors, all the friends and neighbors who join the Facebook group by a date and time, they will be entered in a raffle for good, whatever you're giving away. Okay? If you're giving giveaways in your neighborhood, see if you can support an individually owned sole proprietor. So if there's an ice cream shop in your neighborhood, give away a gift card to the local ice cream shop. Last weekend, when we did the Northwest Arvada tour, we gave away to Bluegrass, because Bluegrass has a location right out there on Highway 72 in Candelas Park, as well as one down here. And it's an independently owned company, right? So support the other small businesses in your neighborhood. What you want to become in that Facebook community, and this is where I would layer in Nextdoor, is that you need to be the connector of people, right? So when somebody goes out to either of those two applications and says, hey, I need a plumber, I need an electrician, I need a guy to blow out the sprinkler systems, I hope you have those people in your arsenal. So one of the things you can do in your neighborhood, because remember, small business supports small business, right? Okay, so if you know, or maybe you can find in your neighborhood, the local plumber, the local electrician, the local handyman, the local whatever the locals are. You want to keep a directory of those. You want your own vendor directory for your neighborhood. So when someone says, hey guys, my house cleaner just quit, I need a new house cleaner, who do you know? Call this person. Because here's what happens. If they start seeing your name always on Nextdoor and in the Facebook group as the person who knows everybody, Elena's the connector of people. When I need something, I'm gonna call who? Elena. If I don't know Elena, I don't know, am I the only weirdo? So if somebody writes a post and I'm like interested on who they might be, does anyone else like click on their name to go into their actual Facebook page to see more about them?
Of course.
If you all don't have Facebook that you're a realtor at Keller Williams Avenues, I'm gonna hurt you all. If your Nextdoor profile doesn't say you're a realtor at Keller Williams Avenues, you're missing the boat. Because remember my friend from dance, everybody knew she was a realtor because of her stupid email.
What happened?
Let everybody in the world know you're a realtor by just putting it in your job on your profiles of your social media. Okay, be the connector of people, get this Facebook page active, right? The one thing I say that overall, I would say that our community Facebook page, there's not a lot of whining and complaining. There's a certain amount of it, like there's some kid who runs around on a golf cart that everybody gets sideways about. But overall, it's pretty much true. Well, the kid is dangerous, he almost hit me the other night, but I did not write about it on social media. But the connections, like when Andy needed a dress altered, do you know where I went and looked? I went into our neighborhood and I looked for seamstress. And I found one and she kept getting mentioned 4 or 5 times and I'm like, Andy, call this one, she's highly recommended. Right? Build that kind of a network for people. Build them an outlet. If there are things happening in your neighborhood, like all those neighborhood events we just talked about, put them on there. Right? Jeff Abel was at the regional rally in August. No, September, I don't remember. He wouldn't let me in his Estes Park Facebook group until I saw him at the summit. And I said, hey, you declined me from joining you, and I realize I'm a Colorado realtor, but I'm not gonna sell anything in Estes Park. You're my referral partner, let me in. I wanted to see what he was doing. He was actually going out and doing in his Facebook group. He would, like on a weekly basis, he would go to a local restaurant, business, whatever, small independent. He would shoot a video, he would upload the video on his YouTube channel, but he would talk about it on his Facebook page, and then he would put a link to his business YouTube channel. Are you kidding me? What are the neighborhood restaurants, right? Taylor does a beautiful job on social media, if you guys aren't following her, where, hey, check out this new rooftop bar and, right, or check out this, or check out that, right? Talk about the stuff that's happening in your neighborhood. If you're involved in the school and you know about something that's happening at the school, tell the community. If you're in a newer neighborhood where they're going through, metro districts are great for this, right? Go to the doggone metro district meetings and learn what they're talking about, and then write up a summary and put it on Facebook. Know what's happening in your neighborhood, and then talk about it. Okay, so I think those are great ways to let people know who you are. And the other beautiful part is, you're building out your vendor list. Right? Yes,
On the coaching page.
Anita, were you talking to me or to Dale?
Oh, sorry, I was texting someone.
Okay. I thought Dale was eavesdropping or something today. All right, anything else with geographic farming?
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say 138.
Oh, because 2 minutes ago. All right, do you guys have a good start to your GPS now?
Yes.
Okay, here's your magic. You need to know how many conversations you're having a week. Conversation is a two-way dialogue with someone old enough to buy or sell a property. Sorry, your 10-year-old kids don't count. And the conversation, real estate has to come up. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. You contact your people. If you are letting people know in other ways that you're a realtor, you won't have to bring it up. True, Mara? Okay, we did a little experiment. Over 80% of the people can I tell your story?
Yeah.
I gave Mara the homework to say, I want you to call, I want to bring people a day, 10 a day, or whatever it was, and you're not allowed to bring up the word real estate. 8 out of 10 people brought it up for her. So for those of you that are like, well, I don't want to be a salesperson, and I don't want to call about real estate, don't worry, they'll bring it up for you. They're gonna ask how the market is, they're gonna hear you don't get paid anymore, all of those things. For your numbers in your business plans, right, the number of units you wanna sell. Y'all have that now, right? Looking around the room, I'm looking on Zoom, I think almost every single one of you have your business plan done, or at least we have your numbers. Oh, that's me, as the coach starts. Okay, so, it takes, on average, if you're not tracking your numbers, this is the number you gotta use. It takes 138 conversations for every closing you wanna have. So take the number of closings that you have in your goal, times 138, divide it by 12, that will tell you how many you need a month. Divide it by 4, and that tells you how many conversations you need to have a week. Then you can take the week a step farther and divide it by the number of days and how many days you work a week. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 6. That tells you how many conversations you need to have a day. So if you woke up tomorrow morning, Christy, and I said, based on your numbers, you need to talk to 7 people today. Do you know exactly what you need to do today?
Yes. Talk to 7 people.
You need to talk to 7 people. And here's all the different ways you might find ways to talk to people. You're heading in your business, I look at mine weekly. I run my week Saturday to Friday, because I use my open houses to kick me off. If I have a killer open house and I had 30 conversations in an open house, I do it next week just that easy. If I got 0, I got some hustle with it. Okay, so you figure out how to track your business, but the whole goal is to get these things down so you know exactly what you need to do. We just did this for you. And then now you need to know how much. Okay, so with that, it is 2:30. I don't want to go late. Give me some quick ahas. Give me 3. Who's got one?
I just love taking all the different ideas. Every time I'm here, I get something new out of it. Just depending like where my business is, there's always something new that I grab onto. Think, oh yeah, I could do that, and then it just expand off that thought.
Yep, it takes you to the next level, right? You're already doing it, but now you want to take it to the next level. Elaine has been a realtor since 2015, and she's still coming every year to business planning and GPS and 411s. Who else?
It's not as hard when you break it down. It doesn't feel overwhelming for me to just go, I have to have 4 conversations, you know, a day or something like that. That doesn't feel horrible.
And we give you a whole bunch of fun ways to do it. All right, Zoom land, give me one. You okay?
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. Zoom land, I need an aha. Okay. Thank you, guys. Let me know what I can do to help you. It's your one-on-one. We're gonna dive into these because I want to make sure we got yours super specific. Stacy will make sure that this document gets emailed out. And away we will go. And Richard, I think that Andy already sent you the paperwork we talked about earlier today.
Margaret, thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Margaret. Have a good week.
Hey, Margaret,
Yeah.
before you hang up, what was the math on that for number of calls? Number of closings times 138?
So number of closings times 138 is how many conversations you need to have in the year.
So divide by 12, divide by 4 for the week, right?
Yep, and you can break that down based on the number of days. Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, no, Dale wasn't eavesdropping. I was actually sending a voice text to Taylor.
I was just teasing. I know every once in a while he's in the background. And so I was like, I wonder if that's Dale hanging out.
No, he's too cool for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Hey,
We'll teach him better. All right.
So, also, real quick, I was asking Taylor, but do we have a list of Popeye ideas anywhere, like on the coaching page or anything? No?
No, but there's a great Facebook group called, if you type in Popeyes, there's a couple of really good Popeye Facebook groups that you can steal a bunch of ideas from.
Okay. Thanks, Margaret.
Pinterest is also good for it.
Yeah, that's who I was texting, was Taylor Vondrek, because I was going to ask her.
Yep. It's just whatever fun you want to have. Like we're doing a crazy caramel apple kit. That's super inexpensive and we're sending it to our clients. So
that's cute.
All right, I'm gonna go. I gotta get on Ask the Coach. All right, bye.